Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sara and I have a toddler son named Suleiman. I'm expecting baby number 2 in February. Today I'm going to be taking you guys through my 33-week pregnancy update, and I'm also going to be sharing with you guys some pregnancy TMIs or things that nobody tells you about pregnancy. I'm going to take you through those, but I'll also give you guys some resolutions to some of these symptoms and issues that nobody really talks about, and hopefully they will be helpful to you guys. This was something that was requested in the comments. If you have any video requests, please leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get to them. I usually start my updates by talking about the baby's development and how they are this week. So at 33 weeks pregnant, the baby is about 17.5 inches long and a little over 4.5 pounds, nearing 5 pounds at this point on average, and that's generally the size of a pineapple. How cute. A very large pineapple, might I add. Most of the lanugo hair has now basically fell off. It's gone. It's no longer on their body. There might be a little bit left at birth. The baby's immune system is now functioning on its own and it does not rely on the placenta anymore. And that's because from this point on, the placenta is aging. It is still working, but it's officially getting old. The vernix coating also begins to dissipate at this point. There will still be vernix on the baby when they're born, and it's advised to keep it on them for as long as possible. We actually didn't bathe Suleiman for like a proper bath to take it off for at least a week. We were told to keep it on, and this is really good for their immunity and body temperature regulation. The baby also pees about 1 pint of urine every day. Now it's not the same as obviously after they're born. It's clean, so they are digesting that, which sounds gross, but it's just amniotic fluid, and they're practicing because their digestive system has also developed. The digestive system continues to mature for 6 months after they're born and then some. That's why some babies deal with a lot of spit up for the first 6 months, and it's just because the digestive system is still it's maturing, so it hasn't matured, it's just developed. And that's all for the baby's development this week. And now let's talk about some pregnancy TMIs, or things that no one really talks about while you're pregnant. They're uncomfortable symptoms, maybe embarrassing symptoms to talk about, and things that are actually quite common but not really mentioned during pregnancy updates in general. Having them is one thing, dealing with them is another. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is gassiness and bloating, which is embarrassing to say out loud, but it is completely normal in pregnancy, and that's because of a hormone called progesterone. Progesterone is a hormone that relaxes the body, and it relaxes the digestive system in particular. It decreases and takes longer to digest by 30%. So this causes a lot of gas and bloating, and the first thing that you can do to deal with that is to hydrate. You can add lemon to your water and alkalize it, and this is also really helpful for gassiness. Something that would help is to fill up on fiber-rich foods, and this is ideally to stimulate your digestive system, as well as exercise, which also stimulates your digestive system. So a lot of these tips kind of revolve around stimulating your slowed down digestive system. Eating small and frequent meals is another way to do that. I highly recommend doing that rather than having 3 square meals a day. I eat small frequent meals, and I also avoid certain foods. What you could do is keep track of what you're eating. And do this for about a week and see what is triggering it, because there usually are certain foods that trigger gas and bloat. I noticed for myself that it's anything that's fried, anything that's sugary, anything that's caffeinated, that tends to trigger these symptoms. When I reduce those things, I end up feeling a lot better. And another thing that really helps is to chew your food thoroughly, which sounds silly, but it helps because it speeds up your digestive system. Less acid to digest your food because you already did most of it in your mouth. Avoid tight clothing, and that's just because the added pressure of tight clothing causes retention in the body in terms of bloat, which in turn adds to gas. Hang in there. I know it's a tough symptom, and it's not pleasant to go through, and it's a little embarrassing. I experienced this more in my first pregnancy than in my second pregnancy. The second pregnancy TMI that nobody really tells you about is swelling and varicose veins down there. They are super uncomfortable and they're embarrassing to talk about, but they're really totally normal as well. They say at least, I think it was 20 or 30% of pregnant women experience this symptom as well. And the reason this happens is because your blood volume has tripled, which means it has to be somewhere, and one of those areas is of course down there. And it does increase as the baby becomes heavier and their head down, and it just adds more pressure down there as well, which can cause more swelling, more chance of varicose veins. So again, the first thing that you can do is hydrate, and the second thing that you can do is dry brushing. Dry brushing is really simple. You take a soft bristled brush, circular motions towards your heart. That's it. The circulation should ideally help reduce the appearance of varicose veins, but also reduce swelling in general, as well as lymphatic drainage, which is another really great way to reduce swelling. The next thing that you could also do is perineal physiotherapy, as well as perineal massage and stretches, which is great for labor prep anyways. They do recommend this in birth classes. And the last thing that you could do is to lubricate, especially during times of intimacy, because that's when people tend to notice the swelling the most. These are getting embarrassing to talk about, but I hope they're helpful to you guys. The third pregnancy TMI, or thing that nobody tells you about pregnancy, is discharge. Not a pleasant word, but this varies greatly in pregnancy. You might have a lot more, so the consistency is more, the texture is different, the coloration could be different. Lots of things change about it during pregnancy, and it varies based on which hormones are rising and falling at certain points of pregnancy. So the number one thing that you could do for this is to always wear liners. It's also good to be mindful of it and to bring it up to your doctor if you notice anything that seems a little bit off with it. The next thing that's really common in pregnancy is the fourth pregnancy TMI, which is ingrown hairs. I haven't really seen any pregnancy TMI bring this up, and I'm surprised because it's another really common one. They say at least 1 in 3 women experience this, and it happens because your hair texture actually changes all over your body when you're pregnant. It's not just the hair on your head, which most people do talk about. You can get an ingrown on your belly, you can get an ingrown on your arm. So the number one thing that you could do to combat this is exfoliate. You can also wax, which does help for the areas that do generally grow hair, but if it's in a spot that doesn't typically grow hair, then I would get some assistance. There are certain spas now that do specific extractions of ingrowns. I definitely experienced this more in my last pregnancy. I don't have that this pregnancy, luckily. The fifth pregnancy TMI, and this one shouldn't be a TMI, I really think this one needs to be discussed way more, is prenatal depression and prenatal anxiety. These are very real things, and they say that about 20% of all pregnancies experience this, so it's not uncommon. So if you're feeling sad while you're pregnant, you're not alone. There are other people that are also feeling this way, and it's not your fault. It is because of the hormones. So again, some people are more sensitive to hormones than others. So if you are experiencing this pregnancy symptom, talk to your doctor about it, because you're not alone. There are ways to get through this, and it's better to deal with it now. Those who go through prenatal anxiety and prenatal depression end up having postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression as well. So it doesn't just stop once you have a baby. I have actually been dealing with that this week, which is why I didn't post a video on Friday. It was part of why I didn't post. I just felt really unmotivated, and I'm really sorry. I take my schedule as a promise, and I don't like to break promises, but there has been quite a lot for me, and I am going to bring this up to my doctor because I do remember this with my sensitive immense pregnancy, and I don't want it to fester or become something that infringes on my ability to just be myself, which includes posting here. So if you guys noticed that I didn't upload on Friday, I apologize to you, and I will be doing my best to upload consistently again. If you're going through any of these pregnancy TMIs, don't feel alone. I'm here with you. I have been through all of these TMIs, and they are not as uncommon as they may feel. They're just less talked about because they tend to be more private, to be fair. A lot of it has to deal with bodily changes, and that can be that can be really embarrassing for some, and I understand that, especially being more of a private person. This side, nice and high still. I thought it dropped, but he just, I guess, uses my cervix as a trampoline these days, so he's right here again. That's my pregnancy bump at 33 weeks. If you have any of your own pregnancy TMIs that you'd like to share in the comments, please leave them down below. I think it'd be really helpful to other moms who are going through some of these issues, or if you'd like me to talk about anything in particular, let me know as well. If you like these types of videos, please hit up the like button, subscribe for more content to join my little family here. I do upload regularly when I'm feeling well. You can probably hear my son in the background. He's so cute. But until then, I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.